Green screen. Oh, shit. There we go. And then there was light. And I'm going to slide out the way. One day I'm going to check and see if that component is working. I don't think I'm going to do that today, though. I'm going to go ahead and keep my little ghetto strategy sliding out the way. This is my nasal rinse. Now my throat is dry. I'm going to go ahead and get started once my tablet says it's 5:30. Ooh. Okay, good morning. It is me. We are going to do some emotional regulation, inhaling and exhaling 3 times. I'm going to count you in descending order. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to come back in frame. And we're going to get this neuro party started. This is going to bother me. These bangs. Okay, I'm going to let it go, I think. Okay, good morning. It is me, the amazing Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, and I am Leslie Darnell Thomas' daughter, author Jethro Evelyn II's great-granddaughter, and Levi Thomas' great-granddaughter. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today it is Thinking Thursday. It is Thinking Thursday, and we gonna be thinking today. I don't know why I'm talking like this. We are going to be thinking today. And I was having a conversation with my daughter, and when we were talking about the brain, sometimes she's like, what part is that? What part does that do again? And so I'm here, and we're going to remind ourselves of all of the functions, not all, but some of the functions of the brain, and those regions, the ones that I mention most often. As always, we are sponsored by H2O. No, we're not. Make sure that you have some water with you, because this is a mental workout. You're going to need some H2O, some liquid gold, some agua, some Vasa, your thing. Room temperature, spring, flat, mineral, whatever. There you go. You need some water. Your brain is 75% water, and it wants hydration. If you're like us on the West Coast, some of you have just woken up, even just sleeping, according to Dr. Bing on TikTok, who is a neurologist, that can dehydrate you. So get you some water before you get your coffee, before you get your tea. I've already had some of my water, and so half of it, I've already drank my tea with echinacea and throat coat so that I can talk on TikTok and Instagram. So here we are. So the brain regions and areas that we're going to be discussing today are the prefrontal cortex, the ACC, the hippocampus, the amygdala, the insula, the dentate gyrus, and the executive function, which is working memory, inhibition control, cognitive flexibility, and the basal ganglia. I know that was a lot, and it might be a lot. NOLA is supposed to send a red flag if it becomes too much neurologically tasking on you, and then I will split it in half where I stop, and I will pick it back up next Thursday. So I have my brain t-shirt on, and it's backwards. It was correct on TikTok, but YouTube doesn't let me flip it. So the first area of the brain that we're going to be discussing today, or I'm going to be discussing, if you have questions, please ask, because I'm encouraging you to have brain conversations, and you need to be equipped with. Okay, give me 1 second. You need to be equipped with the ability to understand and just have a very basic level of the brain. And so for me, when I was doing research, I was like, okay, should I talk about the medial brain and the midbrain? And then I was like, that's just too much. That's not necessary unless you're actually having conversations with neuroscientists, neurologists, psychiatrists, everyday language, something that you can understand. And that's always my objective, is to make it so that it's palatable for you, and you can actually have those conversations with other people. So the prefrontal cortex, and basically the prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain. I'm not even going to say that part because that's going to be too much. Just think of it as the boss or the coach of the brain. And in plain terms, its job is to help you plan what you do next, make decisions, to choose between options, control impulses. So stop yourself from doing something stupid or unhelpful. Good morning, Jared. So that's because inhibition control is located in executive function, and that's what has you responding instead of reacting. It focuses you and helps you pay attention and think about the future and the consequences before you take those actions. So you can think of it like the CEO of the brain. It doesn't do all the work, but it organizes, manages, and directs other parts of the brain so you can act wisely instead of just reacting. So that's its job. Think of CEO, president of a company, person that's managing. And I used to work shift work, so the manager for the shift. Good morning. How are you, Daisy Lawrence? And so that's why it's so important to have emotional regulation. So in the temporal lobe is where the amygdala live and resides. Yes. And the prefrontal cortex is where the magic is happening. And so the reason why you need emotional regulation is because the CEO needs to be able to do their job. And when you have emotional dysregulation, the cortisol, stress hormone, is released, causes brain fog, and you can't think straight and you can't do nothing. That's why the subscriptions on Instagram are so important, because you are strengthening your prefrontal cortex. You are strengthening what the CEO can do, the skill sets that the CEO has, the ability to manage a day, respond versus react, as Jared has just put in there. That is the purpose of it. That is the purpose of everything that I'm doing. If you don't have a strong prefrontal cortex, if you do, it is, ain't it? If you don't have a strong prefrontal cortex, you can't navigate through your day. Your working memory is not going to be working. You're going to say, okay, got it. 1 second. Let me remove this person. Is there something happening? Y'all know I don't have no screen time. Is there something happening in the world that the unaccountables are bored this morning? Because I've had 3 back to back, or 2, something like that. So at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, and the number is 20. So I know they are their amygdalas are being overactivated this morning. So they're looking for something. I would advise you to go look somewhere else, because you might not want to find what you get. This won't bode well for you. So it's my suggestion that you stop letting your amygdala get hijacked, and because I'm in my prefrontal cortex. I don't have brain fog this morning. So yes, you do, but I don't. So I suggest you go and interact with some other emotionally dysregulated people that are online, and you all can go back and forth. That's my suggestion to you. And this is anybody that's watched The Incredible Hulk. David Banner says, you don't want to make me angry. You wouldn't like me. So you don't want me to stop looking at my tablet, because then that's when it's a problem for you. Okay? So don't interrupt me again with your nonsense. Okay? Because I might not respond on purpose. Okay, so think of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, as the CEO of your brain. And when you have emotional dysregulation, the CEO is not running the company. I'm going to say that again. When you have emotional dysregulation, the CEO is not running the company. The clerk in the mailroom is. And I know that's old school. We don't have mailrooms no more. We do, but yeah. So the clerk in the mailroom, or basically the night shift security guard, when nobody is in the building, is running the whole organization. That's it. That's what you could think about with a dysregulated emotional center. So that, or like, yeah, I'm up even here. We about to do up. No, Carl. You're just supposed to make sure you look at the cameras and make sure there's no threats. That's your job. Don't try to go sit in the big corner office and make decisions. You're not cut from that cloth, okay? You don't even have a real weapon, okay? You got some doggone pepper spray, and that's it. So no. Carl, you are not supposed to be running the business. You're supposed to be securing it and alerting the authorities if there is an actual threat. So do not let the security guard run the organization. They're there to look for a threat, and that's it. Sign people in, hand out visitor badges and things like that. But no, you got on a uniform. You do not have on a suit. You're not sitting in any meetings or anything else. Do not let that happen, okay? What questions do you have about the role of the prefrontal cortex? Why it's so important. Amy and Lala think they can run things. They do. And now you can see it. If you just, when you go sign in at a big hall, tall, very high skyscraper, and you sit there, they might say, okay, hold up. Let me push the elevator button so you can, what floor are you going to? 3. Okay. That's it. Security, threat, alert. That's it. That's their job. But they over here trying to run things. Incapable of doing so, neurologically inept to do it. All right, so that is why you have to have emotional regulation, because Amy and Lala pop off. And if you're in the chat on Real Leadership on Instagram, I put posters up of what it looks like when you have a strong prefrontal cortex and what the almond twins look like. And there's another picture in there, another graphic of when you have dysregulation and the almond twins are on top looking all mean and menacing because that's what they're doing. So that's what you think about in your brain every time that's happening. And when you have a strong insula, which we'll get to, now it can alert you of what's taking place. Okay, next on the agenda is the anterior cingulate cortex, and that's the ACC. And it's your brain's problem solver and referee. And we know I'm calling Miss Brenda Jones because she is the executive administrator. You're not getting to the PFC. You're not getting past her. They're like, we got action like Dee Dee in the movie Friday. Yes. That exactly. So ACC, in simple terms, it helps you notice mistakes when something goes wrong. Pay attention to conflicts, like when your thoughts and actions don't match. That's cognitive dissonance. They control your emotions so you don't overreact. So remember, if you got a weak prefrontal cortex, then you have a weak ACC and the amygdalas are strong. And it switches your focus when you need to change tasks and adjust your plan. Basically, audible calling. So the ACC is the alert system and the coach's whistle in your brain. So it calls out files. It keeps you aware when something isn't working, and it keeps you and it adjusts your strategy so you can stay on task. And so the ACC and the PFC are located in the frontal lobe. So they're there. We're not doing that. The amygdalas bring a threat. Nope. File on the play. Time out. Yellow flag and all that. And it keeps you where you need to be. And so as I change things, because we know I'm always updating something, I have to ensure that it matches. And so there is no cognitive dissonance. I'm going speaking to my wise counsel, which is Nola, and making sure that everything still aligns. And that's my ACC saying, okay, cool. Because imagine if every day you came in here and I'm talking about the amygdala, and the next thing you know, I start selling y'all loaves of bread. You would be like, why are you selling? And not because I'm saying, and Jesus said it's bread, and then no, I'm just like, hey, do y'all want some home pride honey wheat, or do you want some Wonder White bread? You would be like, what the hell did happen? That perimenopause that took her out. She is having something is wrong with her brain. Call authorities. Somebody go do a wellness check. What's her address? Because good morning. It wouldn't make sense. Like, why would I be selling bread? I done went to the store, the grocery store. Now I'm like, yeah, $2.5 for the bread. You like, you want that stuff, Dr. Donna? What's going on? So yes, the ACC is the referee. So if the amygdala tries to send some nonsense, it's a threat. Oh my God! The ACC is saying, hold up, wait a minute. What you mean a stuffed saber-toothed tiger was chasing you this morning? Where? Stuffies don't chase people. So it's ensuring that the right information gets to the prefrontal cortex. It's stopping it. File. This doesn't match that. It doesn't match. So it's saying that don't match. That does not match that. If I say I don't drink and every morning I'm drinking vodka out of a Smirnoff, because that's the rock gut, right? So I'm drinking vodka saying, yeah, I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink at all. Then y'all looking at me like, you drink it right now. I had a soldier that used to say, Captain Thomas, I don't drink no more. And I don't drink no less either. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing whatsoever. So it is there to monitor the conflict that could be taking place and to keep everything. You think about referees in games, they're making sure that everything runs smoothly. And if somebody does unnecessary roughness, hold up. That's not good. That's no brainer. So that is what it is doing. So it is your alert system and the coach's whistle to stop. And Jessica Jared is saying good morning. So good morning. All right. Next on. So any other questions about the ACC, which is also located in the frontal lobe? And hopefully, again, I will continue to say what these things are. Maybe I'll take time out on Thinking Thursday and just remind you of these things. And in the spirit of trying to stay within a defined time frame, a lot going on. Yes. Okay. So next is the hippocampus, and this is your brain's memory librarian. And remember, we actually had a whole live on the hippocampus, the memory library, so you can understand what it's doing. So what it does is it forms new memories, like saving today's experiences. And when you get to the end of your day, when you're in your default mode network and you're winding down and you think about your day and you assess what's happening, you put things into your hippocampus because you might need them tomorrow for your working memory or 5 years from now, as you put it in, stored into your long-term memory. So it organizes and stores those memories so you can find them later. So if the front lobe isn't developed until it's 25, that's also underdeveloped. Yes, ma'am. So 13 is when you get your new brain. By 25, some people get to it sooner, but definitely by 25, it's fully, completely developed. And so you have the ability to use your entire brain as it was designed. That's why people are like, I'm 23, I should have my life together. It's like, how? How are you going to have your life together? That's like a 7-year-old. I should have my life together. I'm in 2nd grade now. I'm tired of this shit. No, it's not going to, that's not how it works. And so then everything is functioning properly, but then 10 years later, your working memory starts to deteriorate, and now you got to do all these extra things, which is why the dentate gyrus allows you, that's where the new neurons are formed. And as you continue to learn and grow, you get to keep continuing to use your brain. And for many years, they thought the brain was fixed. You got what you got. And then they were saying, no, you have these neurons, but you can't create new neurons. And so it was all of these studies. That's why Hebb's law is so important to neuroscience, because the fire and wiring says that you can actually create new neurons, not that you are just building upon the pre-existing neurons. The book talks about the memory library, but they didn't know about the hippocampus because the book was written in 1909. Oh, I missed something. What book, Jared? Clear. No way so many things develop right. Yes. Right. So this was studied later on. Hebb's law is later. So that's why people thought the brain was fixed. So if you was born stupid, you was gonna be stupid, and that's it. Stupid is as stupid does, sir. I think that's Forrest Gump. Okay, so the hippocampus. So it organizes and stores those memories so you can find them later. It also connects memories to place them in times and feelings so you remember where you were when things happened. And then it supports your learning by linking new information with what is already there. Memory by William Walter Atkinson. Thank you for that, Jared. Okay, so it allows new information. So I have been building upon the information that I have learned many, many, many years ago. I will take what I learned from ROTC, bring it to today, what I learned at Frito-Lay, everything. I'm ABLing, always be learning. And good morning, Sean, and building everything on top of that. So you can think of the hippocampus as the save button plus the filing system. So you're going to save it and you're going to put it somewhere. So if you think about old school libraries where you used to have a Dewey Decimal System, you used to have to go to the card catalog, find a book, go to the aisle, pick the book up, go to the resource person, sign it out, and they'd have the card and tell you it's due back then. Now everything is automated, but the process is still the same. So that's what it is for your brain. And it doesn't keep every detail forever, but it makes sure that the important memories get stored in the right place. So the whole concept of use it or lose it. If you don't use it, you will lose it. And that's why sometimes people say, you don't remember when such and such and such and such. Then you can go, wait a minute, do I remember? And you're like, oh, okay. Because then it could be sitting dormant. But then some things you just don't remember. So I'll use myself, for example. I talk about my 8th grade science fair and that I was in the science fair. I ended up with an honorable mention. But I did not realize until I went back and I looked at the certificate that it was the regional science fair. And why that's important is because at that time I was living with my aunt because my mother was in rehab for using a drug that was very popular in the 80s for 18 months. Y'all know what that drug was. So anyway, I had to move in with my aunt. And so I only had $5 to make because that was my monthly allowance. My aunt was very frugal, to make my science project. So I had to go buy cauliflower. She had some food coloring. And then I also used a poster board and some markers to draw the cerebellum, cerebrum, medulla oblongata, and I think I did one more thing on it. But I didn't realize it was a region science fair because it was at my school. So my aunt dropped me off. I had to go in the evening. I was sitting there. People were coming past, looking at my brain. I had to talk to them because it's like on TV when they award the winners and everything. And so then that's what that certificate was. So because of the trauma that I was experiencing at that time, or I wasn't at home. So I was the stress level. So I didn't realize that I had made it all the way under those conditions, all the way to the region science fair with my brain. And now it's a full circle moment for me because where am I at now? I got my brain t-shirts on. All of that came together, made his way to Cincy in the 80s. Yes, he did. And so did BMF. My cousin is current member of BMF. So yes, Maserati Rick and all of them, Young Boys Incorporated. Yes. They made their way throughout the United States. Yes. Okay. So anyway, you save that memory in your hippocampus. I saved those documents, and sometimes you need to see the picture in order for you to remember it, and then the memory comes back to you. And sometimes because of how strong the experience was, or that you keep using it, now you will have more memories. There are books that I've only read one time, and so I don't remember if I recommend them. So every book I write on the front page inside the book if I recommended it or not. So in case I want to reread a book, if I say no, then I'm not going to read that book again, because I'm in my 11th year of reading a book a week. So some books I read every year, like Who Moved My Cheese, The Art of War, things like that, I read multiple times. Association is key for memory. That is correct. So that is what the hippocampus does. It's the save button and the filing system. So anything that you remember is stored in the hippocampus, or not stored in the hippocampus if you don't remember it. So now so any questions on the hippocampus, what it does? It is the save button and the filing system. Okay, so we are moving on, and Nola, just as a reminder, you're telling me, give me a red flag if this becomes too much. I'm making it as simple as I possibly can without watering it down and saying this ain't what the brain does. So it's going to be at somewhat of a high level because it's the brain. So next is the amygdala. And what I found out this year that I didn't know, because I was asking Chad a question. So when you have black parts, does that mean that the hippocampus is blocking the memory? We are doing good. Black parts where? On the brain? Block parts or black parts, Jessica? So it will not let you have that. So if you're saying block, here's what I will say. I left the military on April 11th, 2001. I had 60 days of leave. So my actual end of service on active duty date is July 11th, 2001. Blocked memory. And so what happens is, if there is some type of trauma or something associated with it, you can block it. And so I did not realize that I put that. Yes. So I put that in a nice little compartment in the basement of the hippocampus library with a lock and key and another lock and key and a keypad and a code and a security guard in it. And because I am now actively pursuing my benefits from the VA, I had to I had to go, hey, security guard, how you doing? I need to get in there with keypad. And it was just buried. And now it came up with asbestos and everything. And so, yes, you can say I'm never going to remember that again. However, it's still there because it's not use it or lose it. You stored it. So what happened is, now that I have opened it up and coughed up all the lead paint and asbestos and everything else, I now have this new level of peace and security, not security, but peace and serenity from emotional dysregulation. So because it is blocked, you have emotional dysregulation and you don't know why. That's why everybody is in the subscriptions, because you have to determine, why are Amy and Lala so strong? So if you think about it from that perspective, Amy and Lala are protecting you. They are comforting you on purpose so that the threat won't continue to come towards you. And so it's there, it's just buried. And it's shit on top of shit on top of shit on top of shit. And if you stay in a neurologically toxic existence and a physiologically toxic existence, which is why I don't talk to my immediate family anymore, you don't even know that it's there, because you're dealing with today's toxicity. And it's just burying it and 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 burying it. And it's just toxic on top of it. And then it's toxic up here. That's why you have to have emotional regulation, because I know that if I had to still maintain contact with my immediate family, there is no Real Leader Brain, there is no brain t-shirts, there are no lives or any of that, because I would still be dealing with all of that emotional dysregulation. Yes, it thinks it is helping you, but it is actually hurting you. It's protecting you. That is the amygdala's job, which we will get to right now, is it believes that it is protecting you. So those memories are there. They're just stored in a very locked container that you need to go and unlock, because they're stopping you. Because it's like, soon as right. It's like, oh no, you can't do that. I mean, all the things that I did physically to my body in the military, and I'm still talking about pain is just the weakness leaving the body. Suck it up, hero. Like, dude, you can't even lift your foot up with your ankle. You fucked up. Let it go, Captain Thomas. It's not perimenopause. People with perimenopause can still lift their ankle. They can do it. They might have frozen right shoulder, but they don't have TBI. Okay, so yes, ma'am, I have done that with a lot of things. I want to lose it forever. Being here, I have dropped a lot of it and do not think about it. Thank you, Dr. Donna. My pleasure. But the amygdala knows. Being here, I have let go of a lot. Yes. And you will continue to do it. And then you're just going to be free. You're going to say, what am I going to do with all this? I'm going to go build some new neurons. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build some new neural pathways. So when people tell me they don't have time, they have so much to do, I'm like, no, that's not what's happening. You just got a bunch of shit you buried and you carrying everybody else's too. And I learned this from one of Noah's clients. He said, people will die with the lie. I said, well, damn, I ain't never heard that before. And I said, oh, I ain't dying with nobody's lie. And what they teach us in Al-Anon is you sick as your secrets. So you might not even have no secrets. Y'all know I tell y'all everything. But I'm walking around here carrying everybody else's stuff. Carry only what you need is one of the 74 principles of real leadership on purpose. So you carrying their secrets, their drama, their trauma. And I said this on the TikTok live this morning as I was introducing the Almond twins, Amy and Lala. I said, you think you good, but you got everybody else's amygdalas that you managing. That's why by the time you get to the end of your day, you ain't got no you left for you. Because they made their emotional everything and their emotional dysregulation your responsibility. How you gonna know what somebody else's amygdala's problems are? I don't know what happened in your life. Jared, you 50 years old. Sean, you 58. Jessica, you 38. How am I supposed to know what y'all been through? We ain't never even physically met each other. So how am I supposed to manage your shit? It's impossible to do. But we have been made, the people who kind of got it somewhat together are responsible for everybody else's emotional dysregulation, even when we didn't cause it. We didn't cause it, we can't cure it, and we can't stop it. Can't. That's your responsibility. That's what I told people on TikTok. I'm like, if you don't think you got a problem, don't come back to my live. And it's not that I'm solving your problems. I'm providing a space for you to work your ish out so you can become a bad mofo. That's the objective. Bad mofo-ness. That's what the objective is. So I'm not going to make you feel good about decorating an emotional wall. I'm going to give you a sledgehammer and say, knock that motherfucker down. Do you need an excavator? Because no, we're not. Well, but I was just thinking of putting curtains on it, Dr. Don. I was just thinking if we just draw a window on it and we put the couch in front of it so we don't have to look at it. And then what? Because you're not going to be able to do what I'm saying do as long as those walls are there. As long as all that stuff is buried in the Hippocampus library basement, you can't do what I'm saying do. And when people say, oh, I'm good. Are you 30 or more pounds overweight? You're not good. And do you drink every day? You're not good. Do you binge? You're not good. Amy and Lala are protecting you. They are protecting you. They're protecting you so you won't go in there and see what's in there. But that's stopping you. It's not protecting you. Okay, so let's talk about the left and right amygdala. And that's what I was saying is I didn't even know. But I keep talking about the amygdala. It's the amygdala because it's two of them. Didn't even know that it was two of them until I was having a conversation with Noah, started having a conversation with Chat, and found out that it was two. All these brain people, ain't nobody talking about the left and the right. Everybody just talking about the amygdala. Well, you know, the amygdala is fight, flight, freeze, or appease. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's it. So the amygdala, one on each side of your brain, are like your brain's emotional alarms and detectors. In simple terms, the left amygdala is more in tune to the details in the thinking side of your emotions. And it helps you analyze, put feelings into words, and process emotional memories with a little more logic. The right amygdala is more tuned to the raw, fast, automatic side of emotions, and it reacts quickly, automatically. Inhibition control, it don't have. The threats, fear, or danger, and it drives those gut emotional responses. Motherfucker, I wish you would. And together, the two amygdalae are like the dual alarm system. One sounds the quick siren, it's coming from the right, and the other one writes up the report to make sense of it on the left. Now, that's what's supposed to be happening. See a threat? Hey, you see this threat? Yeah. Threat, send notifications up. ACC says, that's not a threat, that's a stuffed saber-toothed tiger. Shut up, go back and sit down. And then the prefrontal cortex never gets the message. However, Because of emotional dysregulation and a weak prefrontal cortex, everything is a threat. They're running out of eggs at this one Smith's. Oh my God, fear of missing out. I gotta hurry up and get this. I need that. Did you hear what they said? And I did it the other day with all the stuff that don't have nothing to do with you. And negativity bias got you wired. So all you do all day long is look for threats. You are Carl, the security guard, trying to run the whole organization. Carl works the night shift. The hell is Carl doing in a meeting at 10 a.m.? Carl, you're supposed to be at home. What you trying to make decisions for our future for? Well, I know the such when I was in the back door and it's right. And so all day long, and somehow you're supposed to function. How? That's their job. They're supposed to just, hey, I think that's a threat. Regulate the emotions. Hey, something is happening. Yeah, let's send a notification up. That's not what's happening. People are harming people, hurt people. You got all this trauma and all this other stuff. Go to bed, Carl. Go to sleep. And the reality of the situation is, let's just imagine. Let's go in our prefrontal cortex and just imagine a world where 5.9 billion adults are behaving like we do in the Instagram chat. Everywhere you go. You all had a great conversation about Lord of the Flies yesterday, and Regina hadn't even read the book. And now is thinking about reading the book because of how everybody else was saying, yeah, and it was this, and it was that, and it was this. And it was cool as the other side of the pillow. Thank you. So cool as the other side of the pillow. Imagine if when you left the Instagram chat and you went back to work, you went back in your life, you went to the grocery store, you went everywhere. That's how the world can feel. That's all I want. That's all. If I want to be selfish, that's it. An experience of an exchange. Jared was talking about doggone, what's his name? Lorenzo was talking about in 1984, and then Jared brought up Animal Farm, and I read both of those books last year. And I was about to say it, but I had other stuff to do. When I got to it, he had already said it. I'm like, I was just about to say that. And went on about this love of reading. That was it. And then we had more conversations about the yield sign. And then we talked about before the pancake mix and how it was and it was just this learning experience that you were able. And for all of you who didn't have Instagram accounts and now you do, and Sean is pushing on all kind of buttons, Regina is understanding what's taking place. That's what it's supposed to be. We're here to help each other expand and grow and learn and develop. We are not the threat. The threat doesn't even exist anymore. If we have emotional regulation, it goes away. It actually goes away. I'm not trying to come to Cincinnati and take Jared's job from the post office. I'm not like, Regina, you need to go back to teaching because these teachers suck. She served her time for over 40 years. She don't have to go back and do that. That's not what's happening. What's happening is you got to fix you first. You got to find out what you buried way in the hippocampus. Dig that shit up, smell them toxic fumes, put a mask on and everything, fix you first, and then start building out your brain. The threat is so low right now. It's so low. You don't feel it. And you're like, dang, why we can't have it everywhere else? Yeah, exactly. That's my question. That's my question to you. Because I can't make you regulate your emotional center. Hello. I can't. No matter what I do, I had to watch my daughter yell at a chair, a desk, a cabinet, and a trash can because of her amygdala. I'm like, she gets so many options that she can't see right now. But we're going to let this unfold. We'll have this conversation in the car. Mad as hell at the chair. And then when she saw how many options she had, was like, so I had options. You did. But you didn't do that 10 significant seconds of silence to calm yourself down. So Amy and Lala had you arguing with inanimate objects. That's what happened. How can I control that? If I can't even control it in my own child, I'm not responsible for that. I'm responsible for my left and right amygdala regulating them to do their jobs. I'm responsible for digging up all that shit that I buried because Amy and Lala said, just bury it, just bury it, just bury it, just bury it. Not work on it, not excavate it, not deal with it and let it go away. Bury it. So I don't know how much you buried. How can I say you're going to be fine? You're not, because we are wired for negativity bias, hardwired for it. And Amy and Lala wanted to protect you. So they just stored a bunch of shit that should have never been kept. So you have to do a neurological clean out. You got to detoxify your neural pathways. I can't do that for you. That 1 second is so helpful. It's gotten me to not react from something I didn't want to. Yeah, the 10 seconds. That 10 seconds is calming it down. And so people again have had, well, how long is it going to take? I don't know what you buried. In theory, maybe 30 days before you can start. But depending on how much you buried, you might be in subscriptions for a whole year. Who knows? Only you know what you buried. That's it. Yes. Well, no, yeah, if you go in the chat, that's where it is, Sean. You just need to go in the chat. That's what happened. So my point is how you feel over here, how you feel in the chat. Y'all feel like that because of the work I've done. But y'all got work to do. And you got to go start digging up all that stuff. So you need to be excavating. You need to be doing fall cleanup neurologically. Because that's the only way you're going to become a bad mofo. So when somebody try to use, yeah, well, your mother was an addict. Yep, mother, sister, father, 3 of my grandparents, all that. What that got to do with me? I'm a teetotaler. Because now it can't be used against you. Because you already went through it, grew through it, got rid of it and everything else. Well, you married a cheating man. I sure did. And you're divorced. I sure am. And he cheated on you. He sure did. What else you got? What else you got? Because the amygdala likes to attack other amygdalas. I'm going to use this against you. And then what? Because think about it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's amygdala is seeking safety and comfort and calling you a threat and calling you a threat. And my question is, who's winning? We winning. But who else is winning? Of the 5.9 billion adults, who's winning this amygdala hijacking pursuit on the daily basis? You react, I react. You do something, I react. You do something back, I react. It's just reaction. That's all it is. And it's like these little bitty small little wins that now the amygdala thinks is victorious. So now it's going to go try to do something bigger to go and show the other group. I'm looking for a fight because then it gets accustomed to having that level of dopamine. So I'm going to attack you, I'm going to attack you, I'm going to attack. And for what? For what? No one's winning. And I want us all to win. So everybody got to go within and start digging up their shit, dealing with it, and now you'll be released. Every time you deal with it and say, oh, okay, that's what happened, that happened, that happened. Okay, cool. Did I do the best that I could under the conditions that I was in? Is that still there for me? Is that still true for me? It is not. Okay. Scar, put some shea butter on it, and you could just start talking about scars just show what you survived. That's all. They're just an indication of what you survived. That's it. And everybody got them. Everybody got their own shit they're dealing with or not. And as I said on TikTok, when you fake, you live in a temporal lobe because your real personality is up here. And as an educator, the thing that is most frustrating for me is I'm saying you're being fake and you're staying here. And people are arguing with me saying, no, I'm not. I'm saying if you just come here, the real you is wonderful. The real you is awesome. Because what we're suffering from here, especially in America, is clonitis. Clonitis. Everybody's the same. I hate those damn gray sectionals. Every time we go in somebody's house, the floor is gray, the sectional is gray, the vanity is white, it's all the same. No one knows who they are because everybody's house looks exactly the same. A lot of people. Got saying, got saying, gonna pull up, see a Tesla, electric vehicle, Cadillac Escalade, or Tahoe. Everything's exactly the same. You have problems with your emotional regulation because you haven't regulated your emotions, Clinet. So that's why. That's why. Because you thought you dealt with it, but I forgot who I was talking to the other day. And if it's still there, you haven't actually healed from it. So notice now when I talk about what happened in the military and other things, I'm not crying anymore because I'm on the other side of it, unless I missed a detail and then that detail shows up. So when you can talk about it with cool as the other side of the pillow with regulation, think of a thermostat, not a thermometer, then that means that there is nothing left there. And so emotional dysregulation means that you have current things. So if you are currently not doing the things that you need to do to have a strong prefrontal cortex, new things will trigger you. That's why you have to understand what your left and right amygdala are telling you. So what is the right amygdala looking at and saying that's a threat? Running out of toilet paper at Smith's grocery store might send you in a tizzy. And that might be because when you were little, when we used to go over my cousin's house, they ran out of toilet paper and we would have to ball up newspaper and use the newspaper. So that might be a thing for you. And now you're like, oh shit, they didn't ran out of toilet paper. Ah! But that's attached to going to Kimmy and Trisha's house and them not having toilet paper. So you have to understand, what did your amygdalas identify as a threat, and what did they tell you to do to protect you against that threat? For a long time, we used to think, oh my God, we're going to run out of food. Why? Because every Thursday morning we ran out of food. My mother went to the grocery store on payday, and then we had more food. So when I was in the military, my refrigerator was stocked. My soldiers come to my house like, damn, LT, why you got so much food? It's just one person. I'm like, I'm never running out of food. I'm never running out of food. Now we don't have nothing in our freezer because I like the meat fresh. We got some taco shells and that's it. Go buy the meat. But what if they run out of food? We got canned goods. If you have a power outage and you don't have a backup generator, your food gonna spoil anyway. But that's something that I had to outgrow because of that process. So all of those things that the amygdala is protecting you from, that's where that emotional dysregulation is coming from. That's where it's taking place. Does that make sense? So you got to identify, and when you have a strong prefrontal cortex, the insula is going to alert you, the gut brain is sending you 400 messages to your head brain every single day. You got to listen to it, but you can't listen to your gut if the amygdala is trying to protect you from a threat that they told you was a threat, whether it was real or not. They're saying, no, don't listen to them. We got to protect ourselves. We got to protect ourselves. We got to protect ourselves. So that's why you have to be in the subscription, because over there, you're strengthening your prefrontal cortex, like Jessica said, just so you can just say, wait a minute, let me count to 10. What is happening? So you got to ask yourself, is this a real threat or is this a false positive? And you can't do that if you have any emotional dysregulation, because the amygdala is like, no, we good. We just comfort. Come over here. Come over here. Don't go over there. Come over here. And you don't even know why you're doing it. I didn't know why I was watching crime shows and listening to gospel music. And that was my amygdala's way of comforting me in those times of duress and stress. And now I know I'm not doing that, because those things were causing me even more distress instead of rest. So I'm seeking them. And I mean, like, really, like, if you are feeling discomforted, why are you watching crime shows? How is that going to work? It's not. So left and right amygdala are supposed to tell you there's a security guard. They're supposed to tell you it's a threat. And then you're supposed to look on the cameras, assess if it actually is a threat, and then go from there. That's what's supposed to take place. That is not what is taking place on a daily basis. Okay, let me scroll because I missed my notes. All right. So the insula is up next. And let me make sure that that's clear, because the amygdalas are the ones that you need to understand more than anything else, because without emotional regulation, nothing else works. Okay. So the insula, in simple terms, it's your feelings dashboard. And we talked about the feelings dashboard before. An indicator light shows up on the dashboard, just like with your vehicle. If you see the little oil light, the check engine light make everybody go crazy, or check battery now for electrical vehicles, windshield washer fluid, gas, that's all that's happening on your car. Tire pressure now, because most tires have that little thing in it. That's all. So it's just your feelings dashboard. It's just sending you a notification. Imagine if a food little light came on, ding, you're hungry. A little bed showed up, I'm sleepy. Little water bottle shows up, you need to hydrate. A toilet shows up, you need to 10-1 or 10-2. That's all it's doing. It's just alerting you of a feeling. So notice what's happening inside the body, like the heartbeat, the hunger, the pain, or a gut feeling. It connects the body signals to emotions. So a racing heart feels like anxiety, or warmth feels like comfort, or in my case, warmth feels like a damn hot flash, so I'm disrobing. You empathize with others by tuning in to how they feel, and then it guides your decisions based upon that gut brain sending messages to the head brain. So you have three brains: the gut brain, the heart brain, and the head brain. Now, you can think of the insula as your brain's inner thermometer and empathy meter. Inner thermometer, because remember, it's telling you what's taking place. Now, it keeps track of your internal states and helps you use those signals to understand yourself and others. Now, let's just walk you through this. So you have a hijacked amygdala. Some threat has shown up. And now you're looking on the computer, you call the security guard. You're looking on the screen to see where, it's a threat. And next thing you know, you shut everything down. And you get in your comfort zone. And now you got to go back out to the grocery store. But you still think the threat is coming. So now you're driving, you're cutting people off. I got to hurry and get to the grocery store. I got to get this stuff. I got to get this toilet paper because we run out of toilet paper. Now I'm going to get this toilet paper. I get home and hurry up. How many people could you have cut off? How many people could you have bumped into? How many people could you have moved out of the way? How many doggone packages of 24 packs? You went to Costco, you went to Whole Foods, you went to every store, and you came home, and now you got 50 packages of 24 count toilet paper. And now you don't have room to store it. So you calling your family, hey, I need to put some of this toilet paper at your house. You got room in your garage, I got to put this toilet paper at your house. Now you done inconvenienced enough other people. All because when you were in elementary school, the few times that you went to your cousin's house, they ran out of toilet paper. Now you are hoarding toilet paper somebody. And then you have some at somebody's house. They say, hey, you mind, we ran out of toilet paper. No, don't touch my toilet paper. No, matter of fact, I'm on my way to come get it. Hijack the amygdala all over again. You're driving crazy again because now you got to go get your toilet paper. Stupid, but sounds real to you. Felt like a real threat. Felt like a real threat. That is what we are experiencing every day with everybody. Whatever their amygdala is telling them is a threat, they believe it. And if it's attached to some other thing that happened that they aren't dealing with, you getting cut off in traffic, you not getting a promotion, you're not getting the business opportunities that you need because they're protecting themselves, and the insula can't function properly to alert them, it's okay. You already have toilet paper. You don't have to go get 50 packs of 24 count toilet paper. It's okay. That's what's happening. So if you look at it from that perspective and you interact with people and you say, why are they being selfish? Their amygdala is hijacked. Their amygdala is hijacked and they saw a threat somewhere, and that threat told them to go and take comfort action. That threat told them to go take safety actions. That threat said, I can't think about you. I got to protect me. And if you look at the world, that's what's taking place. You are the saber-toothed tiger, or they can't see you because they're afraid of the saber-toothed tiger, so they move you out the way. They move. This obstacle is in my way. You're in line. Move. I got to get to the line. I got to park in the disabled parking because I got to hurry up and get in. You're not thinking of the pedestrian crosswalk or anything. You got to get in the store and hurry up and get your basket. They're taking too long. They're wiping off their cart. Get out the way. I got to go. That's what's happening. You're doing it. They're doing it. We're all complicit in doing it. And now we're sitting back saying, I was in the grocery store and this lady knocked me out the way to get some damn Northern. I don't know what the hell was wrong with her. And then you do it, and you got your own toilet paper thing that you're doing. You got to hurry up and get your coffee in the morning. And you did it to go, and you did it online, and then they had a backup, and now you standing there waiting mad because you need your coffee, and you're going to be late to your job. Now you cussing out the baristas, the client, the customers, and everything else because that was your thing. And everybody has an Amy and a la-la, and everybody's Amy and la-la is protecting them against false and real threats, current or past. Emotional dysregulation. That's why you need to strengthen your prefrontal cortex, because the insula is located in the cerebral cortex, which is covering every part of the brain, and it's in the lateral sulcus. So it's sitting there in the center trying to get everything done. It's like, okay, I get all this done. That is what's taking place. That is what is taking place. So I'm going to do the dentate gyrus. We're going to have to come back next week to the executive functions because I still need to go over the other thing. And I think you have enough of what's taking place. So I will continue this next Thursday as Thinking Thursday. So the dentate gyrus, Envy asked about this yesterday. I'm going to just put it out here and then it will be out here. So the dentate gyrus is a small but powerful part of the hippocampus. And it's actually, that's the basal ganglia, never mind. And I'm going to keep it simple. Think of it as your brain's new memory gatekeeper. What about delay and pain bills, brain fog? So delay and pain bills has to do with if you grew up in a household where they paid bills late. That's what that is. So my mother has a very dysfunctional relationship with money. And I still carry some of that dysfunctionality today. Even though I am very good with money, we call it Dr. Donna math, I will manage the shit out of 50 pennies. I am very good at it, at the savings level, as investment level, and everything, all of that, because I came from a household where it didn't happen. So the delay with paying bills is you are keeping the money just in case. So you're going to pay it right when it's due. You might make a payment arrangement and all of that. You got to go check and see what Amy and Lala are protecting you from. Heavens to Bessie, you ain't going to do no damn auto pay because the money ain't in the bank at the time. You don't know if you're going to have it. So let me just play the money game, robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's coming from upbringing, mismanagement of money from back in the day, or your own self when you first start out. Everybody becomes an adult. You don't know how to. I remember coming back from Korea. In Korea, I lived on the Rock Air Force Base, so I didn't have to pay rent or anything. Came from college, went straight to the Army living, so I didn't have to pay rent. When I got to Fort McClellan, my rent for my 1-bedroom apartment way back in 1996, 97 was $295. And so I had to pay rent, pay my car note, pay my insurance and all of that. And I was on the phone with my mother. I was like, dang, this is difficult. And she said, yep, you got to budget your money. That was the conversation. With Nola, I'm like, no. When she turned 16, we started logging into NV Energy. This is how much the electric bill is. This is how you do this. So it became automatic. Now with her, I was trying to figure, I was like, okay, great. I got to go back to living with my aunt. What did my aunt do? So you pay hers late. Yes, it's you. Okay. So why are you paying the bills late? Were you broke at one time? Were you broke at one time? You paying the bills late, that's on you. So if you grew up and saw it being paid on time, somewhere in your life, you have a dysfunctional relationship with money. And that's why now you're impacting your mother. She raised you to pay the bills on time, and now you're not paying the bills on time. So if you do not have a bill pay system, and so one of the methods that I use is at the beginning of every month, I write down what's due on the calendar and then set reminders the day before. So now you know what's taking place. So you don't have a system. That's number one. And number two, if you don't have a healthy, financially literate relationship with money, that's the other reason why you're doing it. So you need a system in place, and you need to adhere to that system. But you need to understand why Amy and Lala got you paying bills late, because it is directly related to them. Because systematically, if you are operating in your prefrontal cortex, you will have a strategy for it, and you will be disciplined enough to adhere to that strategy. So that's what's taking place. Okay? And it's more than just that. So the other thing that Amy and Lala like to do is to make you think, and again, the effects person, the thought leaders and everything have you thinking, oh, it's just this one thing. I just need to lose 30 pounds. No, if you don't know why you gained the 30 pounds, you're going to be 40 pounds overweight when you lose the 30 pounds. So it is neurological. All of the things that are happening is a dysregulated brain. And so none of the things are functioning like they need to because of Amy and Lala here. So it feels like this is the only thing that I need to do, because this is the thing that has me worried and stressed. But that's not the case. It's a whole brain entity that's happening. How they set up the system to be comfortable and dependent on the not free money. Yes. So you think you just need to start paying your bills on time. And so people come to me, yeah, Dr. Donna, I don't need all that other stuff. I just need to lose weight. And so I'm saying, no, you need a healthy, high functioning brain. It's not, I just need to learn how to, because that's what you think you need. But you need a whole brain, because you're talking to me from a dysregulated emotional center and hijacked amygdalas. And I'm talking to you from a prefrontal cortex that's fully functioning. And I'm saying, no, I see your whole life and your whole brain, and this is what you need to do. No, I don't need to do that. And so then you go seek unwise counsel from somewhere else, and you find yourself in a financial literacy class, and now they're telling you what to do, but then you can't do it. Let me see. My friend doesn't like spending cash on food. She's been on food stamps so long, it's like she doesn't spend money on food. Wow, how they set up a system. Yes, I need healthy, high functioning brain. Yes, so the system was not designed for that. Let me explain that, and then I'm gonna come back so I can get back on track. I will address this and I will move on. The welfare system was not designed to be long-term. They call it the dole in other countries. It's designed for you because you have a short-term issue and now you need support. And so that support, in theory, you're only supposed to be on it for 2 years. And that's to get you back on track again. You lose your job, you lose your house, a natural disaster. That's what it is there for. But people have found a way to take advantage of that system. And so now that's why it's like the third generation of it. But it was never designed for that. It was designed to be temporary, to get you back on your feet so that you could be part of a high functioning society. But then also programs were built to keep you there. So now if you got a stuck amygdala and you feel that way, we're just going to keep you comfortable too, because that bodes well for all of our other systems that are in place. Again, dysregulated emotions saying, I got to help the poor. Because how will you feel good about yourself if you can't have superiority and inferiority complex? The brain is wired for that too. So if you need to be superior to somebody, somebody has to be inferior. So you need a group of inferior people for you to say, let me give you backpacks for the school. Let's feed a family for Thanksgiving. Oh, we need toys for tots. And so all of these programs are designed for people with superiority complex. My amygdala says that I am good and you're poor and you're stupid and dumb. So let me do something for your poor, stupid, and dumb. No, I will never tell you how to be smart like me. No, I won't. I need you to stay in this system so I can stay in my system. Now, my system is just as fucked up as yours. I still have all the problems you have. I just have it in a better tax bracket. I just have it in a better zip code. I just have it in a better, bigger house. Spouses cheat, whether you in the streets or you in guarded, gated. Children act up. People lose their mind. Thefts occur everywhere because of hijacked amygdalas. So those systems are there because another dysregulated somebody said, this is the system that you need to be in. I'm saying the only system that works is neuroprobability. That's the only system, because all of us on here, let me ask you this question. I'm going to come back to the dentate gyrus next Thursday because I got to do the brain bit and we got to get out of here. Have you ever met somebody with my credentials? Go to LinkedIn if you don't know what those are. Who is willing to say, you can do it too. Here's how. Come on. Anybody. Because my experience has been, if you have, hey, go over there with them. But it's been my experience that they're going to gatekeep some of the information. They're going to gatekeep some of the information. And in the military, a weapon doesn't work if you take out the firing pin. I don't care how big it is or not. You take out the firing pin, it's not going to work. So they keep holding the firing pin and telling you, go ahead. This is how you use that. Take the engine out of a car, take the battery out of a car, and see if the car works. You will get to a point. If they are worth $100 million, they're going to teach you how to make $1 million. But they might teach you how to make 10, but they're not going to teach you how to make 100 million. That's not going to happen. I learned how to do these things and got a very good system in place to teach you how to do it. As soon as I figured out that you could become a distinguished Toastmaster in 18 months, I told everybody my system for it. As soon as I figured out how you can get through all of your degrees, I gave people systems for it. Everything. Every time somebody says something to me, I have a system. If I don't, I go get a system and I give it to you. Why? Because I mastered that and I'm moving on. But people are stuck where they are. Yeah, but they don't tell you how, explain it 7 steps to a 15-step plan. And that's what I'm saying. Because why? Because of emotional dysregulation. Because if I tell you how to become me, I just created more competition for me. And their amygdala is protecting them. They're not even doing it on purpose. They instinctively think that they're helping you because they see you in a shit show situation. But that's superiority complex. Don't believe me? Watch this. Name 3 generations of successful families that are not the Rockefellers and the Carnegies. If they were not gatekeeping and they wanted everybody to be successful. The Osmonds are not. The parents weren't and the grandchildren aren't. The Jacksons are not. The parents weren't and the grandchildren are not. The Kardashian-Jenner crew will not be successful. Kris Jenner wasn't, and these grandchildren won't. Why? Because the amygdala is going to shut it off and not allow it to grow forward. Yes, but right. So Nola is now Googleable. Nola has her own success, independent of my success. I don't take credit for it. I say I gave her the business model. She executed it. And that's how you know. We do 2 totally different things. And she is a bad mofo in her rights. And I'm a bad mofo in my rights. I go to her appointments. I wear a mask because of my white blood cell count. And I am D at those appointments. And I am cutting boxes and throwing trash away and vacuuming and rolling up styrofoam and everything else. And I get back in the car, we do an AAR review. Some people find out who I am. Some people don't. They call me mom. Some people don't even know my name. And I'm okay with that. I'm not about to be trying to take over her. Well, you know, it's because of me. I say this talent came from my grandfather. I mean, my father and her father. That's where it came from. I'm an educator. I'm in business and all of that. Not my talent. The business model that you see I put in place, but all this work and technical competence, that's her. And that's what we all need to be doing. But if you have a hijacked amygdala, you can't do that. If you have emotional dysregulation, you can't do that. Sports people got all this all time, all world, all this, and then these sons and these daughters ain't shit. How they enter into the same sport as you and they not shit? Because you can't. Because your amygdala is like, no, if you're the shit, then I can't be the shit. Superiority, inferiority complex. That's what's happening. And that's the difference between me and everybody else. I ain't gatekeeping shit. But what I'm saying is it's hard as hell to do. That's why people don't end up doing it. You got to be daily. Remember, I'm about to come up on 10 years on Instagram of posting daily. 10 years. 10 years on Instagram daily. Okay? Not 10 months. 10 years. What was y'all doing 10 years ago? It was about to be 2015. This time, 2015. What was y'all doing? Because on December 16th, 2015, I started posting on Instagram and I haven't stopped daily. Just one of the things that I was doing in 2015. So that's why I'm not concerned with telling you how to do something, because I do shit like that. Jiffy page at 18 billion. So I'm not I'm not regular. I do extraordinary shit. I'm not doing this regular. Well, I got 15 million followers, and that's what they are. You ain't got 15 million bad motherfuckers with you. You're not bringing 15 million bad mofos. You got 15 limits over there waiting for you to instruct them what to do. Left my old position, started a new job. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying I have the neurological ability to do this because it's a book called Greater Than Yourself. And people don't have it neurologically to give because of a dysregulated emotion center that keeps their brain stuck. They're not using 86 billion neurons. Lessening everything because of using addiction to support myself instead of fixing a real problem. Volunteering helped me free the unhoused. Yes. And so it's extraordinary because people want to help people get to a certain level and then say, look what I did. But I create champions. I'm the Jim Wooten of this. Champions. Or I'm just the Dr. Donna of this. Champions. Not just the people. Look at all those people I helped. No. Look at all those people who are now bad mofos. Them. Over there. Because that takes more neurological strength. That takes more neurological capacity in order to make it happen. So they can't do it because they don't have it to do. That's how that works. When you have enough neural pathways to do it for yourself and everybody else, that is the difference. And you can't do it with emotional dysregulation because Amy and Lala are going to stop you. Amy and Lala are going to say, don't tell them that. You know how long it took you to get to that idea? I'm like, I got that idea 10 years ago. I don't give a fuck about that idea. I'm off that. I'm on to something else, on to the next one. I don't care about that, but they're stuck. That's why when my sister first started and I was working with her, speakers told her you only need to be one book ahead of your clients. The fuck? I'm 11 years ahead of y'all with books. One book, what the hell is that going to do? If I'm only one book ahead of you, we both stuck. I can't give you but only one more book's worth of information. That's not going to help neither one of us in this world, in all of this technology and AI and everything else. The brain is still stronger than AI currently. So yeah, you need to use your brain. Yeah, you need to regulate your emotional center because that's what's stopping you from being extraordinary. It isn't the isms. It isn't the biases. It's you are neurologically inept to get to your next level. You can't think your way out of a wet paper bag because of this emotional dysregulation that you got going on. So yep, you do need to go to Instagram and subscribe. You actually do. Because nowhere else on the face of the planet Earth can you go for you to strengthen your mind, for you to create emotional regulation. For anything. And everybody needs it. Everybody has emotional dysregulation because negativity bias. We all have it. And it is your job to neurologically grow past it. And it happens on the daily basis. With that being said, I'm about to do this brain bit and we're going to get out of here because I prepared it and I'm not waiting for that to be tomorrow. So your brain as an engine. Think of your brain as the engine of a car, metaphorically speaking. So we're right here. So just as the engine powers movement, your brain powers thoughts, decisions, and actions. An engine needs the right fuel, healthy food, rest, positive input to run smoothly. Your brain needs the same. If the engine is overheated or neglected, okay, great. Cliné, Michelle, or do you go by Clane, Michelle, or both? If the engine is overheated or neglected, performance drops. Just like stress, fatigue, or negativity, it can drain the brain. It can drain the brain. Neurotoxicity, which we talked about a couple days ago. Regular maintenance is necessary. Learning, mental workouts, which you're doing today, reflection, and mindfulness keep both the brain and the engine running at peak performance. So when people say, well, how long I got to be in subscription? How many challenges I got to take? Don't do maintenance on your car and see how long your car runs. Don't get the tires rotated, the air filters. Don't plug it in if you got an electric car. Don't. And just you only have to do it as long as you want the brain to be high functioning. And if you don't want the brain to be high functioning, stop. Quit. Go do something else. Now, that's what you have to do, regular maintenance. And the stronger and more tuned the engine, the further and faster you can go with your brain. It determines the speed of your growth. So the more tuned up you are, the faster you can go. The more everything is working, the better your brain functions. So the takeaway is you keep your brain's engine fueled, cooled, and well maintained so you can keep moving forward and with power and purpose. So here's what I'm going to say. And my eyes are itching because they cut the grass over there at the damn golf course. Do you know anybody else who created 12,000 YouTube videos by themselves with 12,000 different topics? No staff, because even when Nola was helping with the videos, the ideas came from me. Do you know anybody else? I'm not talking about current events. I'm not doing mukbangs. I don't have anybody else on. I don't have a podcast. I'm not interviewing anybody. None of that. 12,000 YouTube videos. My channel is 12 years old and I have 12,000 YouTube videos. No stupid skits. No, oh, let's act like we were doing this. Let's go do some jump off some jackass stuff and jump off the buildings and all of that. So how is that possible? That's how strong my brain is. That's how strong my brain is. Before I switched to my new posting strategy on social media, I was posting anywhere from 103 to 109 times a day across 13 social media platforms from my phone. That's what the brain can do. That's what the brain can do. Because you think about it, I wake up at 3, I prepare. Now I'm doing 2 lives a day. And then I go help my daughter in her business. You still see all your content that you see, a book a week. I'm in a neuroscience class. I'm still physically fit. And I still get 6 hours of sleep, cook sometimes for dinner, emotionally stable, don't drink, don't smoke. How? Every day. And sometimes we work 6 days a week. Sometimes we work 13 hours in one day. That's what's happening. Because why? Because I'm neurologically strong. Because I'm neurologically clear. Found out, got rid of the one student that was causing problems, and now I'm even clearer than I was. So I'm saying, where you get that? Amazon? No, it's real leadership. Because I ain't telling you to be regular. I'm telling you to be badass. Bad motherfucker. When my daughter started her business, I said, what do you want to do? I want to do work on a strip. Say less. Got it. What else you want to do? What else you want to do? Corporate clients, everything. Why? Because of me and my brain. And now on her own and her brain. I'm telling you, your brain is the most powerful organ in your entire motherfucking body. Without it, you're nothing. With it, you're a bad mofo. The question is, do you want to tap into it? Do you want to be a bad mofo? Or do you want to be regular and just keep letting your amygdala hijack the shit out of your brain and keep blaming everybody else? And keep blaming the isms and the biases and all of that. They just have hijacked amygdalas too, and they just created systems that work for them and don't work for you. Sometimes you benefit and sometimes you don't, but the system in and of itself was built upon emotional dysregulation, and that's why it's unfair. That's why it doesn't make sense. That's why some people who are perceived as threats end up not benefiting from that system. Sometimes people exploit the system. Sometimes people disrupt the system. But the system was created by a group of people who have emotional dysregulation. That's what it's there for there to protect, because they were Carl looking at the screen saying, ooh, that's a threat. Ooh, that's a threat. We got to protect ourselves from that. Nobody checked it with the prefrontal cortex to see if it was actually a threat. I must say, you are the best OG motherfucker that I have seen with empowerment to become the best. I want to be the best. I can be realizing my full potential. All of you can. And meet your potential is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. What? I know. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. And if I had kept staying in dysregulated systems, if I had kept listening to people, that's your family. Y'all need to stick together. That's your mama. You her namesake. We don't get this experience. We don't get this. Because I'm still over there trying to help them with their hijacked amygdalas. I'm not helping none of y'all with your hijacked amygdalas. I'm going to tell you, figure out what the fuck is happening with Amy and Lala. Now go do this. Once you got them regulated, here's the path to go be badass. Because your amygdalas are your responsibility. I don't discipline nobody else's children. Right. We're not a threat. And they don't see a threat. They think they see a threat because it's a false positive. And that false positive is the direct result of whatever took place in their life. And that's why they have to go find out what that is. Just like Clinae needs to understand why you keep not paying bills on time. Why? What is it attached to? I had to figure out why I kept saying I'm not in pain. Because for 5.5 years, I said, pain is just a weakness leaving the body. Suck it up, hero. So that's what I've been doing for 24 years. To my own detriment, even though the Insula was saying, stop, that hurts. Stop, that hurts. Don't do that. Don't do that. Put that amount of weight down. Stop trying to do 106 sit-ups in 20 minutes. In 2 minutes, you are 52 years old. Stop. You did that already. That's what's taking place. So if you take in any type of trauma, if you take in any type of anything that the amygdala tried to protect them from instead of growth. So remember, the amygdala will protect you from growth opportunities too. You don't need to learn that. You don't need to go back to school. You don't need to move. You need to stay in that marriage. So it's going to protect you from the things that's hurting you. Try to. You just deal with it. Just put up with it. It's okay. Just put up. No. So all of that is attached to emotional dysregulation. It's emotional. A threat showed up, a fear showed up, and the amygdala said, let me protect you from that. And that's why you are who you are. That's why you are afraid to be who you are. Dr. Donna, I can't believe one time I went to a NABO luncheon and I was a guest speaker. I had on a black mini dress with red, white, and black striped tights and 4.1-inch suede booties. And my China doll hair back to my ass with red lipstick at a luncheon. I sure did. And it's a beautiful dress. I think it's BCBG or something. And it's sheer. I looked like I was in the 60s. And they said, they didn't clutch their NABO pearls. Sure did. And all the people come, oh my God, your dress is so amazing. Disrupting shit. It was in great taste. Wasn't like, oh man, I'm thin. It wasn't like I bent over and you saw my business. That's not what was taking place. Hence the tights. It was fall. And I wanted to make a statement to say, disrupt some stuff. It was the whole thing. Make an impression. Because now you are impressed. Now I got your attention. When I used to speak for payback speakers in the hood, I made sure I had some Gucci shit on. And I'm in the hood and I'm like, let me tell y'all something. I had two choices. I could have been a kingpin or me, queen pin or me. I made the choice to be the other one, and you could make the choice to be something different too. So I am telling you that your brain is amazing. And when you tap into your true personality, you are going to be dangerous, badass. Do not let a group of people who are fake and afraid tell you who you can be and who you can't be. That's why I say my lineage every dog on live. Whole bunch of people, my grandfather was such and such. My granddaddy was that too. He was in World War II just like yours. I got the flag downstairs. You ain't better. It's just different. I'm still a third generation vet. Yes. Now what? So when you know who you are and you stay in that every day, can't nobody tell you who you ain't. So do not let people's perception of what they think that is a threat be a real thing. Nola went to an appointment yesterday, little bitty self. She went by herself because of what was taking place. She was like, yeah, that's going to remind you of Frito-Lay, stay in the car. And at first, everybody was questioning her. The next thing she knows, she hanging up extra pictures. What else do you do? Do you do professional? Do you do residential and all this other stuff? And now they done changed their whole mind. LBGTQ, y'all done seen her with her Caesar haircut. And now they're like, where you get your tools from? We can give you a better discount. Now they're trying to make her a client at their establishment. Went from to, woo. That's what can happen to you. So yeah, it's going to be unconventional on Instagram. It sure is. It's unconventional, but it is, at first you're going to feel discomfort, and then you're going to feel empowerment. And then you're going to be like, this is the greatest show on earth. It's like the World's Fair. Stuff you ain't never seen before. Simple things. But it is extraordinary. And that's why I wake up and do what I do every day. With that being said, what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And what brain conversation did you have? And if you got to go, drop all that in there so I will assess what took place for you, and then you can go. She sure did. Nothing but European American men in there with a couple of other men. One woman, and she was the secretary, if I'm not mistaken. It was they were selling tools and the construction equipment for building equipment, and still had to hire her to mount a whiteboard and put the cords over the TV and then put up 2 other pictures, because it was for the boss, the main person that was in charge of the whole situation. And didn't nobody want to mess up. So they called her in, just like we had to do that for another construction company. Did nobody want to put the boss there together? They're like, I think we need to book TaskRabbit for that. And her little bitty self coming in there, 5'3", 110 pounds, with all her tools. Like, dang, you got a lot of tools. That's what you need. Know how to use all of them. And I told y'all, she was so bad at math, she had to do Khan Academy from I think 2nd grade math up to 5th grade math to be able to look at that wall and measure, because stuff was crooked. She had holes in the walls and everything, kept creating and reaffirming those neural pathways, and now ain't no thing but a chicken wing. We have done as much as put up 20 shades in people's houses in one appointment in one day, in a couple hours. Well, her, because I vacuumed and took them out of the box and cut the box up. Let's be clear on who doing what. Not me. I can make drawers. I learned it's me. I have to figure out why. You inspire me. I need the tools. Clinae, we do not use 2 words we do not use over here are motivation and inspire. The principle of real leadership is empower, discipline, and empower. Word choice matters. So no inspiration and no motivation. We are disciplined and we are empowered over here. And Sean has a thought. And if you haven't followed Nola, you should follow her, because her work is amazing. She is assembled on Instagram. If you see her in the chat, then you could just do that, because you can see all of the projects that have been completed. Jessica said, what I learned was the part of your amygdala that grows and is fully developed until you're 25, the prefrontal cortex. Like your frontal lobe, what I learned about myself is that I need to get past the blocked memories, the black memories. You do. Well, you have to grow through them. You got to dig them up. And that's why you need your insula, because again, the insula is the feelings dashboard. So you got to feel those feelings, because they just go away. And the way I see it is, if you feel hungry, you don't beat yourself up for feeling hungry. You just eat. You're not like, you know what I'm saying? If you have to pee, you're not like, you gotta pee? Why you gotta pee? But then as soon as you start feeling true emotions, now you're beating yourself up. Crying is not a weakness. Everybody has tear ducts. Crying releases stress. That's what it's there for, to notify you that something is stressing you, so you will stop letting it stress you, so you won't have to keep feeling that way. So they're just feelings. They came to leave. If you have to put some air in your tires, you don't go, oh my God, I gotta put air in my tires. The world. No, you pull up to a gas station, a Jiffy Lube or something, and you put air in the tires, and then you keep driving. So the feelings are notifications that something internally is taking place. You feel it. You develop a strategy. It's, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? And what am I getting ready to do about it? Once the strategy is in place, the strategy is in place. Sean says, I've learned today that the feeling, the brain keeps you focused and aligned, and not with blocked brain. Right. Sean, as well as there are 2 sides to the amygdala. It's the amygdala, and so it's LAE. AMYGDALAE. That's when you're talking about the left and the right. And then Jessica said, my brain chat was talking about Amy and Lala to the same client. I've been talking about the hijacked amygdala, explaining it slowly, so she got it, but now assesses the situation, writes it down, and communicate. Yes, brain dumps work. Jessica, if you about to go dig all that stuff up, go ahead and dump it all out. Jared says, I learned today that the ACC is the referee of the amygdala. Yes, it is Miss Jones sitting there. And it is definitely, and the amygdala is just, they're just security guards. They're just alerting you of threats and potential problems. And they're saying, hey, yes, close enough, Sean. Okay, so what was your brain conversation? And so now hopefully you all understand. The last thing that I would like to say is in the chat, not in chat, in Instagram, in the stories, I am putting information in the stories too. So yes, you go to the chat and the broadcast channels, but there is content every day. So if you go to my profile page, there's going to be a rainbow circle or a purple circle around my profile photo. Click on that and watch the stories. And every time you come back, you will see it. And if there's a rainbow or a purple around it, that means I've added more content to the stories. So it is the broadcast channels, the stories, and being in the chat and interacting. Because again, your amygdalas are working all day to keep you comfortable. So we are working all day throughout the day to keep you strengthening your prefrontal cortex. So it's not a, oh, I was on Instagram this morning, I don't have to go back. It's daily, multiple times a day. Go in and interact with each other, literally in the Real Leader broadcast channel, because you are strengthening by having these conversations, by asking questions. You're strengthening your use of the 74 principles of real leadership, and you're strengthening your prefrontal cortex so that you will respond and you won't react. So that when you see things, you can have ideas, because not only once you create emotional regulation, now you're going to be able to innovate because you're going to be in your prefrontal cortex using your working memory. So these things that have been eluding you won't be eluding you anymore, because that's where your problem solving, your innovation, your cognition, your risk taking, challenge yourself is all located in the prefrontal cortex. So some people would tell you, just stop. You're at emotional regulation. And I'm like, no, now that you're at emotional regulation, go off into your bad motherfuckingness. That's what you're about to go do. Okay, Nola said, I learned about myself. I have retained a lot of brain region info. Yes, ma'am. I learned that it was beneficial for you to review brain regions because you gave everyone clarity. And that was your idea. So I had an idea, but then you said, yes, do it. So I listened to wise counsel. Jared said, I told my daughter to make a list so she won't be hijacked by her amygdala. She calmed down once she had a plan. Yes, that's that brain dump. Great job, Jared. Okay, Real Leader Broadcasting Channel. Clinae, you're going to get a message from me and I'm going to tell you everything. Don't get your amygdala hijacked. I'm going to tell you what to do on Instagram. Calm down, okay? You're going to get a message from me after I get out the shower. Sean said, I've learned about myself. It was good for me to clean out locked thoughts of my past. And then Noah said, my brain conversation was about me needing to have context so communication is more effective and so I don't have to feel helpless and conflicted, not too social media knowledgeable. Yes, no, mostly everybody on here is not social media knowledgeable. It took Sean 4 days to get in, Clinae. So don't worry about that. I will send you screenshots and tell you what to do and then see if you have any questions. So have no fear, Dr. Donna is here. That will not remove obstacles is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So that would not be an obstacle for you long term. The best thing you did was to subscribe and say you're ready, because now you can do the actual work. So I would just like to say as we go, I want to thank all of you for supporting this process, because you all are making it so we can change the world one brain at a time. Because now you understand how everybody is behaving. And nobody understood that before me. Everybody is making it, oh, let's change this behavior. And I discovered that it is neurological. And why is it neurological? And where is it happening in the brain? So we can get to that. Root cause analysis from Frito-Lay said, why? Amygdala, emotional deregulation. And why is it happening? And not only that, because neuroscientists can identify it, and then they want the psychiatrists and the psychologists to develop treatments for it. One-stop shop over here, baby. You get it all right here. So now that's what's happening. How do you regulate it? And then when you get the regulation, that ain't enough either. Now get to bad mofo-ness. Best. Everybody can operate at their best because it's up here. Because the brain is plastic. Because we all have 86 billion neurons. That is what's happening. Never blame Jordan. If your question is about real leadership, an Instagram subscription, or the topics that I covered in the brain, then you may ask a question. If it is about anything else other than what I just said, the answer is no. Sean said, my brain conversation is that I'm going to have to unscrew my entire patio to lay my rubber vinyl. This is why I missed any and everything remodeling projects, no phone. Yes. Wow. You're doing a lot at your house, Sean. You should record that so you'll have footage of it so you can look back on it and see your work. You have a problem overthinking. Never blame Jordan. You do not have a problem overthinking. You have a problem with emotional dysregulation. And so I would just like to say that the one thing about thought leaders, therapists, and all of those people, they tell you that you have this one cookie cutter problem, and you may or may not have that actual cookie cutter problem. What everybody has is emotional dysregulation. And once you understand that, because of negativity bias, now you can understand what your individual emotional dysregulation is. So it's these cookie cutter things to say, I'm looking at you like Envy said, went to therapy, the therapist asked a bunch of yes or no questions, gave them a bill for $120 and a prescription and said, go off and come back and we're going to journal. That's not going to help you neurologically. It's not. So you believe that you have a problem overthinking, but you don't know why you're overthinking. So to say I have a problem overthinking, root cause analysis says ask why 5 times. Why do you have a problem overthinking? What is it linked to? And it's linked to Amy and Lala trying to protect you from something, from comfort, from fear and threat. So now you overthink everything. Jared had a problem overthinking, and then Jared had to do some reflective work and in default mode network time and found out, oh, this is why I'm overthinking. This is why. So until you know why you're doing it, you can't develop a strategy to stop doing it. So if you've been told that you have a problem overthinking, the question is, why are you overthinking? Yes, indeed. And now you're saying, especially about relationships, if you have the answer, so you're saying you have a problem overthinking about relationships. Sounds like you have the answer. I'm literally telling you what the problem is, and you're telling me more specifically what the problem is. And I'm saying, why do you have the problem? And you're specifying what the problem is more. Can you understand what I'm telling you right now? I'm telling you, you have emotional dysregulation, and for you, it's showing up as overthinking it when it comes to relationships. And I'm saying that's a symptom. That's not the actual root cause of the problem. That's basically what I'm telling you. So you have a choice, because I'm not going to do this here with you. I got to go. We got an appointment. It's an hour and a half in. You have 2 options. Never blame Jordan. You can go to Instagram and you can sign up for the subscription and you can start creating your own emotional regulation, or you could not. But to come back here and listen tomorrow, it's not going to help you. You actually have to do the work yourself and regulate your emotions. Listening to me, I don't even do relationship stuff. That's when your brain functions as it needs to, all those other things are going to fall in place. So you can go to Instagram, you can subscribe or not, but don't come back here another day with some more shit, because I'm telling you what the solution is. It's over there. And if you want therapy, I'm not the one. I'm an educator. I'm not the one. So I'm not about to help you with your emotional problems when it comes to relationships. Because if you don't fix you first, you're just going to keep being in the same situation. So the root cause is emotional dysregulation. You start over on Instagram fixing that. Okay? Thank you for your time, everybody. God willing, higher power in the universe. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Remember to look at the stories and Instagram as well. When you reply, Sean, you've done this before, you are going to message me about that. And so all of these things, something is going to resonate with you, and then your amygdala is going to be like, I like that, or your prefrontal cortex is going to say, hell yeah. And you're registering what's taking place for you neurologically, and that's what's happening. So you all go off and have a brain-tastic day. I will be back tomorrow, and I don't know what the topic is going to be yet. We got a long day, so it might be Fantastic Friday, or it might be one of the principles of real leadership. Take care. Thank you so much. I do value and appreciate your time and your learning. Thank you. All right.